Hi English 112, this is Professor Russo sending you all a little video welcome. I like to use this feature that we call screencasting, where I can capture some of my computer and walk you guys through some ideas. So you'll see me use this a couple of times throughout the semester just to help you see some of the things that are important in the course. So one of the first things that I want to walk you guys through is the course layout itself. So you'll see that we have a welcome page where I've got all of my information ready to go. But then you will also see that I've got some important other places for you to take a look. One of those is announcements. If you go to the announcements section, you'll see that this is where I will contact you guys pretty regularly throughout the class. Normally, 2 to 3 times a week, you'll get a long announcement that gives you some reminders. So it's really important that you're checking both Blackboard as well as I always email these to your Nova email address. So I've already got our first announcement up and ready to go. In here, I remind you of a couple important things to look at. One of the first is to look at the syllabus, which goes through all of the requirements. Now, there's one really important thing to think about here as we're looking at the 6-week session that we're in, which is grading withdrawals and incompletes. Because we are in such a short semester, one thing to keep in mind is that we have a no late work policy. This is why one of the other things I suggest you do in the announcements is to go through each week in our 6-week class and take a look at the calendars I've made. So I've got all the due dates ready to go. So as you can see in our first week, we've got some Sunday due dates and some Tuesday due dates. We often have due dates on Tuesday night because that's technically the end of our course since each week starts on a Wednesday. We're starting on Wednesday the 16th. The week will end then on Tuesday the 22nd. But we're also going to have a lot of these midweek due dates, which are normally on either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, most often Saturday or Sunday, to give yourself some time to do things like responses back to each other. So each of those, if you take a look in the assignments folders, we can see that whole set of the overview of assignments. If we click in week 1, you'll see that we've got that little calendar at the top. Each individual assignment also includes instructions and those due dates. And you'll see that at the start of every week. So if you're somebody who likes to stay organized or you're a little bit nervous about this 6-week class, I know I would be very nervous about a 6-week class. I'm not sure I would have been able to do it when I was an undergraduate. One way to stay on track is to go through, check out these due dates, and go ahead and write down what's due in whatever planning system you like to use. That way you can map out how much time you have during these 6 weeks. Because one thing to think about is that you're really doing, as I say in my first announcement, you're a super compressed section. Normally we have 16 weeks, so it's almost 3 times as fast as a regular semester. So you have to be really careful about managing your time, and that's where writing down those due dates very early on can help you. Just some other important information, if you're looking at where you can contact me, that's the faculty information page, and you'll see that there's a picture of me, so now you know what I look like. You can put a face to this voice, and there's some other information. Now, because this summer I'm only teaching online, I don't have necessarily the same set of set office hours, but I will be on campus pretty often, and we can always set up a time to meet face-to-face. Another thing I like to use a lot is if you don't use it is things like Skype. It's a free app. You can put it on a computer or a smartphone, and it's a really good way that we could meet and talk a little bit about your work. So I hope that some of that information is helpful to you. There's one more button I want to show you. It's the Units and General Resources button. Because we're not operating from a textbook in this class, a lot of what we're going to be doing is free things that are already available online. So if you go to Units and General Resources, there's different folders for each of the units we're using. So for instance, in the end of week 1, the end of this first week, and starting week 2, we're going to do some information about family and gender roles on TV shows. If you take a look in this folder, you can see that we've got all of the readings ready to go, some things that you can use to help you. We've also got some links for how to annotate, quote, MLA format. But I've also put in some screencasts for you to help you walk through a discussion board, walk through the outline, walk through actually doing the essay that you're going to be working on in the second week. One thing to keep in mind with some of these screencasts is that they have been made for previous classes, so if you see things that show due dates that say like Sunday, March something, hopefully you've got the critical thinking skills to know that's not you, but just in case, that's a reminder that they might have been coming from previous classes. So anyway, let's take ourselves back to that welcome page. and just looking forward to working with everybody this semester. If you have any questions, easiest way to reach me is always going to be my email address, which is right there. So feel free to reach out. Hope everybody's having a great start to their week, and I'm looking forward to reading some of your first pieces of writing in the next few days. Have a great evening.